Since the beginning, people have always sought shelter. People have always wanted to seek shelter in terms of, a cave, a hut, or even a tree. It's our base instinct, and so it's something that we hold very dear, and it has deep meaning for us. And so, because of this, everyone deserves a place to call home. Habitat for Humanity is a nonprofit organization that believes in this idea, and they help families achieve their dreams of being homeowners. Well, their goal is to help as many families as possible achieve these goals. So let's talk about the problem with homeownership. The Habitat for Humanity website writes that according to the Joint Center for Housing Studies at Harvard University, more than 40 million American families live in situations where housing consumes more than 30% of their income. Furthermore, it's nearly impossible for a full-time minimum wage employee to afford a one-bedroom apartment. And according to the National Low-Income Housing Coalition, found on Alex Gadeo's article on Bustle, says that even having 2 jobs isn't enough. A person who has 2 jobs can't afford a 2-bedroom apartment, which is really scary if you think about it. And this is something that happens in 29 out of the 50 states. And so the other thing is that the United Nations has estimated that 10 million people every year die from poor housing related conditions. And so these are serious problems that need to be confronted. And so what we need to ask ourselves is, how do we fight this crisis? And so that's something that Habitat for Humanity has been fighting for years now. And so as I said, they're an organization, they're a nonprofit organization that helps, they build houses, they build affordable houses for low-income families and middle-class families so that they can have a home and be able to pay off that home. And so as of November 6, 2013, they've built 800,000 homes. They're all affordable. And so it goes to show you that, they've been around for a while. They've been around for nearly half a century now. So it goes to show that, their system works because they've been doing it in the past, they're doing it now, and the way it looks, it's gonna keep going in the future. Well, I want to tell you about how it works, how Habitat for Humanity works. So a lot of people think that they give out free houses, but that's not the case. They don't give out free houses, and some people are always confused. They think, how is it a nonprofit if they don't give it out for free? Are they charging these people for their houses? And the answer is yes, they do charge, but they're a nonprofit. And so the way for me to explain this is, normally when you buy a house, and I'm not an expert on this, but normally when you buy a house, you take out a mortgage, and usually that mortgage is from a bank. And so they charge you interest on that mortgage. And so what happens with Habitat for Humanity is that instead of being charged interest, you get a 0 interest mortgage. So another thing people wonder about is, great, they don't get charged interest on this mortgage, but if they're low income, if they're impoverished, how are they paying for a new house? Well, they thought about this, Habitat for Humanity thought about this, and so they came up with this term they coined, which is called sweat equity. And so what that means is that the families that are actually gonna own the homes, they have to, literally be out there working and constructing their house with volunteers. And so that lowers the cost tremendously, because they're not wasting $100,000 on a house, because they can't. And so what you get from this is that it's a very, very good situation for them because they're also receiving donations. Well, the next thing I'd like to talk to you about is the results that you'd see from funding this specific program. So the Habitat for Humanity Wikipedia page writes that, first, the Habitat for Humanity program uses locally appropriate materials and energy efficient materials. So if you think about this in big scale, if you have a program like this and you're building homes that are using materials that are, the right type of materials, then it's very friendly for the environment. Secondly, you're having energy efficient materials, so they're using minimal resources. So again, you have environmental, it's environmentally friendly. Okay, so the second part of the second result you'd see, and they're both positive. The second result you'd see is that you'd be seeing a lot more people with a lot less debt on housing, and furthermore, you'd see improved health. And so I want to talk about the first part. The less debt would come from the fact that people would be paying less for homes, and so what happens is that instead of paying $2,000 a month for a house payment, let's say you're paying $1,000, and so people typically do one of two things with their money: they spend it or they save it, and a lot more people spend than they save. So this is a very good thing for a community, because if you have an extra $1,000 to spend, you're gonna spend it, and typically you're gonna spend it in your community. You're gonna go out to restaurants, you're gonna buy that new TV you wanted, you're gonna buy that new car you've been wanting. And so what you get is you get money circulating in your economy, in your community, and that's very good economically. The second part is the health part. Architecture, it's proven that architecture can heal, and it can benefit you in terms of, when architecture is good, it improves you emotionally and mentally. And so when you have more homes like this, when you have more homes that are new and they're safer, they appear safer, your community, their overall health improves, and that's what you want. You want your community's health to go up. Well, to conclude on this speech, the Habitat for Humanity's goal is to help give people homes that really need them. And what they want to do as well is, that's what they want to do, and it's because everyone deserves a place to call home. Additionally, we're lucky to have homes of our own. We have a place to go to at night. We have a place to sleep. We have all that stuff, and so I believe that everyone should have a home to go to. And so through our combined efforts, if we're able to volunteer, if we're able to even donate to the program itself, we're able to help others make their lives better, and we're able to give those people a home of their own, because after all, everyone deserves a place of their own. Thank you.